We definitely have to do that. But you said that like in September, right? The markets are acting a little bit different compared to the summertime.
Well, yeah. So they're gonna go through, cycles of trending and range trading, and NZD overall has been trending this whole summer, and I really just picked a bad spot to short it. This 4A currently is a good short. Of course, this is a news trade as well, so even though the oil didn't really move that much, I mean, it's up 70 ticks, but it really didn't move that much, to be honest.
Yeah.
I don't know what the oil inventory numbers were, but they probably came in a little bit lower. But it's basically flat.
Mm-hmm.
They've been buying oil all night, and we basically back. We're at the same spot we're open from. So.
Yeah, no, that definitely makes sense. And you said that you're going to add additional filters onto your trades or your signals moving forward.
I always do. Yeah. So like every time I take like every time I take a loss that is not like human error, like my mistake, but like a pattern just didn't work. But let's say I followed all my established rules, then I start looking deeper, into, okay, why did this not work out? Because my expectation is for every trade to work out perfectly. So when it doesn't, I start asking questions like, how can I make it so it works in the future? And I've been implementing some filters for sure. You probably noticed that the amount of trades has reduced by about 25% over the last month.
Right. Wow. And you've been trading like this for a long time then, right? This particular method?
My method always evolves. So, yeah, because you have to adjust with the changing markets. I mean, prior to Swiss franc debacle, markets were a bit different for sure. Now then they were different again. Now we have Brexit. Now the markets are different again.
I was asking. So I know that this week and last week, like the beginnings of the week, right? We kind of experienced a lot of like turbulence or just kind of unpredictable nature. Is there any kind of advice you can give us in terms of like, do we just, be extra wary of the signals then, lower the lot,
okay.
Stop? Like, what do you think?
So people talk about people talk about how the first 2 days, let's say Sunday and Monday sessions, are usually tough trading, but nobody really explains why, and I think it's important to know. So the reason why that happens is because of higher time frame traders. Okay. What happens is the guys who are trading on monthly and weekly and daily bars, and there's a lot of systems that trade that way too. When the market closes on Friday night, okay, there's all these signals that are being generated for these traders for these systems to take a trade on Sunday and Monday. Okay, right. So when the Sunday and Monday session comes in, let's say the weekly bar or the monthly bar wants to make that high, right? It's going to run through everything it can to make that high and then pivot down. All right. So that's why, and there's a lot of volume. So if you look at the volume, right, you're going to have the most amount of volume the first couple of days, a little less volume in the middle, and then there's a little more volume on, like, say, Thursday and Friday. So, but the first 2 days are going to be kind of volatile because there's all these high time frame players who have a lot of money, and they move these markets, and they don't care about my setups or your setups or your lines. A lot of times they don't, but a lot of times we still make good money on Sunday and Monday too.
That makes sense. So what do you like? Should we, in terms of like, for example, the signals that you give off, Vadim, like, should we just kind of take them as per usual, or I mean, is there anything else on top of that we can do to kind of minimize risk?
Okay, as far as the beginning of the week goes?
Yeah, so like maybe signals that you give off on Friday or Thursday night, Friday, getting ready for Monday and Tuesday, right? Like those have been been like I guess especially for newer traders have been like really like panicky times for them because it's been pretty tough.
Right.
What do you think that we should do?
I hear what you're saying. I think my first suggestion would be to, if you're new at least, to reduce your lot size and also focus on. Hold on, let me mute some people. Boy, that's going to be. I'm going to look to see if there are settings to kind of mute everybody automatically because.
Sure.
Anyway, so look at my setup statistics, okay, and then pick trades with the highest number of trades and with the highest percent win, okay.
Okay.
So like 1A, 1B, 3A, 4A, some 2Bs, you know, it kind of depends. All right, so let's say you have that list, right? So you can set your own filter for my trades. And then also, if it makes sense to you, okay, because, you know, if you don't have confidence, you know, in the trade setup, it's going to be harder to take it or manage it. You know, things like avoiding major news also can help for sure. But yeah, so basically reducing lot size, and taking only the highest probability setups. Those would be my suggestions.
Okay, I'll definitely do that. And then the signals with the red flag, that means that these are signals that should be taken throughout the news, right? That you're expecting.
Well, those are the news trades. I mean, they show a valid setup, right? I always put a you know, the pattern type, the trade type. But because of the news, a lot of times the news just goes right through my, you know, entries, like they don't even care, right?
Yeah.
So that's why I put the red flag in there to remind traders that, hey, there's news coming out. You know, where is the price relative to the entry and relative to the time when the news is released? You know, so like that, like GCAT entry today, right? The only thing I didn't like about it was that we got in before the news. Okay, so, and when I saw how close we were to the entry, I was like, well, this is like, it's not a good setup. So USD was a better trade, except I've been avoiding USD this whole week, if you notice, because of the interest, because of FOMC today. And one of my rules is to avoid avoid USD on a FOMC week for most of the trades, and also for NFP week.
Got it. I noticed that this week particularly, like you did a lot of signals on CHF and NZD.
Yeah, CHF was actually kind of by, not default, by, I wasn't trying to short CHF. I was looking for it to go down, but I wasn't like looking to short it. It was just all these other pairs are showing signals, and CHF just kind of came along with them.
Got it.
But my idea for the week was the short of the NZD. Of course, I shorted it too early. And then the other idea was to buy CAD. And we've been buying CAD CHF and CAD JPY and shorting UCAD. And, you know, I'm avoiding British pound because it's not behaving right to me. And we shorted the EuroCAD. Of course, I made a mistake there. I moved it from 1B to 3A, and that 3A was not a perfect. It wasn't a perfect 3A, so then the 1B helped us out. We took good profit on that.
Wow. So, but technically, like in a high level, you're expecting all trades that you put out to be successful, and when you do take them, you just write them out all the way to TP, right? Or through multiple TPs.
Okay, if you've seen any of my trading videos, like on Instagram.
Uh, no. Like, do you? I mean, are
Do you
they all
follow
on
me?
Instagram? Or do you have like a channel, Vadim, on YouTube or something with your videos?
Yes, there is a YouTube channel, but those videos that I post on YouTube are also on Instagram. They're just 60 seconds long. It's just Leonidas Trading. Um,
Okay.
so, um,
I'll check it out.
yeah, check it out because what I do is, as you notice in the charts, I usually put out at least two take profits, unless it's a very small trade and there's just one take profit.
Yeah.
So you also have to recognize that. Hold on, I could hear but my son. Okay, right. So you also have to recognize that and it's in my manual, that the 000 and the quad 0 and the 50 lines, the orange lines,
Yeah.
they should also be considered as take profit.
Okay.
And you want to put your partial take profits 2 or 3 pips, above or below, in the direction of the trade, those levels. And also my TPs. My TPs are just like the entries. They are, they can miss by 1 or 2 pips. So you want to make sure that you also move your TPs 1 or 2 pips above or below in the direction of the trade for you to get filled. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, maybe I'm gonna probably start doing that even with your signals because like this week, like NCAD for instance, or even UCAD, like we missed it by like 1 or 2 pips, and it's just like crazy.
Yeah, yeah, it can be annoying, and but my goal is to trade to within 1 or 2 pips with 100% accuracy on every trade, and that's my goal. So that's what I'm striving for. I kind of have I don't tell this to a lot of people. But I kind of have a little bit of OCD, and I've been working on it for years, but it's like I can't do anything about it.
Just embrace it, Vadim. Just embrace it.
Well, yeah, it's okay, but it can drive me nuts too because I care so much, and if I make a mistake, I make a lot of like human mistakes too. Like,
well,
so honestly, like every pattern, I have so many rules that I have to follow for it to be valid. So like if so, it's like a chain, right? The weakest, part of the chain is the weakest link, right? So, and that's what happens. Sorry, I interrupted you.
No worries. I mean, I was just gonna say that I've tried like a couple other signal services before this, and this is by far like just a really amazing breath of fresh air. Just the approach that you guys have and the transparency that you do. Really excited to be part of it. I've only been part of the group for a couple weeks now, Vadim, and just been learning a lot as well. And then of course, every trader has losses and wins, and just insane.
Yeah, exactly. So what I'm trying to do really, so I add and remove patterns all the time. This is my current list, and for example, I don't backtest, so it's whatever. I'm not going to talk about it, but I don't backtest, so I test my patterns in real time. So, for example, the 5C, right, that I took on AUD CHF. Or what? Hold on, AUD CAD, right? Let me see. What was it? I believe it's AUD CAD. Yeah, AUD CAD. You have a 5A pattern, right? So that's range trading. Currently, it's at 77%, very low compared to other numbers, and it's about to get worse. It's about to get down to 70% because of this loser on AUD CAD. So this is the reason why I shared these patterns with the group a week ago, because I want you guys to filter these trades yourself, because when I'm putting out type 5, it's going to suck. Why does it suck? Because it's range trading. You're in a range, right? You do not know when it's going to break out and go against you. Yes, you can trade up and down all day long, but every range ends at some point. Just like why I don't you won't see a lot of trend lines on my charts, because again, every trend line breaks, right? So automatically for me, maybe because of my OCD, but automatically for me, the range trading and trend lines, they're not 100%, right? Because they always get broken, right? So I don't use stuff that's not 100%. I try not to use it. But I have this range trading type 5, and I'm gonna take it till I want to get at least, for statistical significance, you want to get at least 20 data points. So for 5A, I'm currently on trade number 14. And so I'm going to take another maybe 6 or 7 trades and see where it goes. But I already don't like type 5, you know, so I'll probably drop it off after another 10 trades. And, you know, type 6, you have a pullback to range after breakout. That can also be dangerous because why 6A is at 75% over 12 trades is because the pullback to range after breakout, sometimes that breakout was a false breakout and it's just trying to get people stopped out who were trading in that range. So then, hold on, is there messages I'm missing? Maybe somebody can't hear me. I don't know, it's good. All right, so sometimes that false breakout, you know, I'll get in the range, right, for type 6, and I'll just keep going higher because that breakout was a false breakout. But there's a way to identify if a breakout is a real breakout or not. But for that, we have the 3A trade. And the 3As, I've never lost on the 3A, so I like that one a lot. Anyway, so then you got the type 2 U-turn, trend reversal. Of course, these are riskier trades. You know, selling a trend is, you know, it's risky. I mean, we did stats about a month or two ago where we calculated that the chance of any given bar in a trend that's been going on for, say, a week is less than 2%. I'll have to look at my stats. But basically, there's a 98% chance that they will keep going higher. On any given bar. Now, on any given high or low, right? On any given new high or low, what is the chance that this new high or new low is the last new high or new low? And we calculated it to be at around, I believe, 22.5% on an average trend. So that means that you're going to be wrong, you know, 80% of the time, right? If you're shorting. So, but for the type 2s, I have specific rules that allow me to trade trend reversals at high rate.
Got it. Yeah, no, this is definitely really, really interesting, Vadim, and I think it'll be helpful for a lot of people to hear this same stuff too. But like, I personally like taking your type 1, 3s, and 4s, also because statistically they're the highest. Yeah. But definitely learning a lot, you know, as you make the signals and we're watching the charts.
Good. Yeah, I just want you guys to learn and kind of ideally, I mean, I want you guys to kind of like, and you will, but I can help you with it. Basically, create your own type of method. So, you know, you can start a spreadsheet or a journal and go through, spend like 6 months on this. Go through charts and identify patterns that you see occur on regular basis. And you can call it, you know, let's say you see this thing that looks like something and you can call it Preston pattern or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And just track it, right? And so you take like 20 trades on it in real time, not backtesting. And you say, oh, shoot, this Preston pattern wins 80% of the time. Now, let me look at my losers. Okay, I've had a couple of losers here. Let me look at them and let me analyze at what point this trade is not work, what conditions are present consistently that make this trade not work, for example. So then that would be your filter, right? So then you start having these filters on this Preston pattern, right? And you start accumulating a lot of data. And then let's say you identify 10 of these patterns, right? And I'm not talking about stuff that's in the books. You know, anytime somebody talks about head and shoulders or trend line this or wedge that, I always ask, like, okay, so like, what's the percent accuracy on that? And nobody can ever tell me, right? And it amazes me that nobody's tracking the performance of these setups that everybody's taking.
Yeah.
Also, like head and shoulders, people are taking them in the middle of the range or at the bottom. The head and shoulders pattern is only valid at new highs. That's like a basic thing, you know. But people know what head and shoulders looks like, so then they just see it everywhere, and it doesn't work that way. So you always have to know why this pattern is working or not working, and create your own pattern. You know, find your own patterns. There's so much information in the market. It trades. There's so many. You know, if you look in that time-based charts, you can take one pair, and you can have 20 different charts in the same period of, you know, in the same range, because just by changing time frame, you're changing the entire structure of the chart. You know, I'll show you 5 charts, and I'll tell you that it's the same pair in the same period, and you won't believe me because prices are fractal. So there are no candlestick patterns per se on time-based charts.
I see. Yeah, and I think that would be really awesome for us to learn more and stuff. Looking for your webinar. Would you like recommend us to close the pending for UCAD because it's reversing now, going back down, or?
Okay, I get this question a lot.
Yeah, only because like I have my chart right in front of me now, and we're 1 pip away. Now it's turning down.
Yeah. Okay. This pair just missed our order by 1 pip. Should I get in manually? Question is no. Now, should you cancel it? I don't have that question. Okay. Should you cancel a trade that we missed by 1 pip? No. So usually we move it 1 or 2 pips below that pivot high, right? So that bar, that wick, we move it 1 or 2 pips below that point, and then we wait. Now, at a certain point, you cancel it. So for me, it's usually between 40 and 50 pips, and I kind of give up on it because my first take profit, so I have 3 take profits and 3 stop losses on every trade, and my first take profit is usually between 40 and 50 pips. So to me, if the pair already moved 40, 50 pips, but I missed it by a pip or 2, I just let it go. I don't care about it anymore.
And so if you do want to modify this, you'll probably post again in the signal channel, right?
No, I'm not going to. You mean like if I want to move the sell by a pip or 2?
Yeah. No,
I don't do that. No, but because most people know. Like I said, it's in the manual. I talk about for entering then the price again for the final time. You can either wait for the fill or move your order 1 to 2 pips below above the bar that order was missed on. Also, a lot of times missed trades happen because different brokers will give you different prices for the pair, since there is no centralized exchange for spot currency trading. If you need to compare your broker prices to mine, I do my analysis and trades with FXEM.
Got it. Okay, so I'll just modify mine 1 or 2 pips, and then just keep an eye on.
Has the UCAD moved 40 or 50 pips already?
It's at 30 now, roughly.
It's 31.90, right?
Yeah.
Oh, 30 pips. I see. Yeah, with the FOMC today, I would just cancel it.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah, it sucks when it happens, but but you can see that I am truthful when I say that I try to trade to a pip on every trade.
Yeah, no.
But a lot of people, like I said, over time they have learned they front run me, right? So I put out a trade at 32.24. They'll short it at 32.23, 32.22.
Yep.
And like I said, different brokers. Man, I've seen. There's one guy. His account was at Hot Forex, I believe, broker. And we were trading, I forget which pair, but there was actually, so his difference from my quotes and his quotes was like 5 pips. So I got in, within 1 pip or 2. I think it went against us by maybe 2 pips. Well, he's never even, he's never even came close to the entry, not to mention touch it. So then he's like, oh man, it's my broker. I'm like, yeah. So then the same day, like 2 hours later, he's like, I'm gonna move my entry 5 pips below your entry. I'm like, okay. So he does that. Then I get another trade to the pip. He still misses it.
Wow.
By a pip, because his differential was like 6 pips on that pair. So it's kind of crazy and it sucks. And it's really, different brokers, But literally, I would go to TradingView, for example. They use FXCM quotes, or you can get a demo account, and compare your broker to FXCM's quotes. Just basically go to like highs and lows of like big bars, and compare to see what kind of price difference you get.
Okay. Yeah, I'll definitely do that.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day. I definitely appreciate it.
No problem. My pleasure. And hope you can join us tomorrow at 4 o'clock. But if you're joining through your phone, make sure to mute your phone.
Yeah, for sure. But looking forward to ending this week off well, and working with you and the group over the next, I guess, remainder of the year. Should be fun.
Okay, cool. Let me quickly unmute some people if they have a question for me real quick, because you kind of stole the show, haha.
Didn't mean to.
Yeah, I know.
Sorry, guys, if you're listening.